A new home, or is it? Welcome back, everyone. Tonight we have 3 spine-chilling tales that will make you think twice about moving into a new house. These stories come from the darkest corners of the internet, whispered by those who dare to share their terrifying experiences. So, turn off the lights, grab your blankets, and prepare to enter a world where your dream home can quickly transform into your worst nightmare. Imagine, if you will, a quaint, tree-lined street bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun. The houses, each more charming than the last, seem to whisper stories of happy families and cherished memories. On this picturesque street, Maple Street, stood a beautiful Victorian house, its gables reaching towards the heavens, its windows like watchful eyes. This was to be the new home of the Thompson family, John, Mary, and their 2 young children, Emily and Ethan. They had poured their hearts and savings into this house, their dream home.
The moving truck had barely pulled away when the children, their laughter echoing through the empty halls, began exploring their new domain. Little did they know, a presence lingered within those very walls, a spirit tied to the house, unable to find peace. It started subtly, a cold spot in the hallway, the flickering of lights.
Mary dismissed them as old house quirks, but John couldn't shake off an unsettling feeling. One evening, as Emily played in her room, she ran to her parents, her eyes wide with fear.
"There's a man in my room, Daddy. He smiles at me, but it doesn't feel nice."
John, his heart pounding, checked Emily's room but found nothing. He soothed his daughter's fears, attributing it to an overactive imagination. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been sown. As days turned into weeks, the occurrences grew more frequent, more disturbing. Whispers seemed to emanate from the walls, shadows danced in the dead of night, and the scent of lavender, heavy and cloying, permeated the air, particularly around Emily. One night Mary woke to a bone-chilling cold and the feeling of being watched.
As I turned, I saw him, a tall, gaunt figure standing at the foot of the bed, his eyes burning into mine. A gasp escaped my lips, waking John. But as he turned on the bedside lamp, the figure vanished.
Fear, raw and consuming, gripped the Thompson family. They tried to ignore the events, to convince themselves it was all in their minds. But the house had other plans. The entity, for that's what it was, grew bolder, its presence suffocating, its intentions unclear but undeniably sinister. Objects moved on their own, doors slammed shut with no explanation, and the children were plagued by nightmares, their once peaceful sleep now filled with whispers and cold, spectral touches. Driven to the edge, John finally decided to delve into the history of their dream home, only to uncover a dark secret. The previous owner, a man named Edward, had died within these very walls, his death shrouded in mystery. Local rumors whispered of a life consumed by grief after the loss of his wife, his sanity unraveling until his untimely demise. Armed with this knowledge, John and Mary realized they were not dealing with a mere haunting, but a tormented soul seeking solace, or perhaps revenge. In a quiet suburb, nestled amongst perfectly manicured lawns, stood a charming 2-story house, newly purchased by a young couple, Mark and Sarah. They were ecstatic about their new home, eager to start a life together within its walls. Little did they know, a chilling secret lay dormant in the depths of their basement. The basement, dark and musty, held little appeal to the young couple, relegated to a storage space for unpacked boxes and forgotten furniture.
One humid afternoon, while searching for our camping gear, I stumbled upon a peculiar detail. A section of the basement wall seemed to give slightly under my touch, a subtle irregularity in the otherwise solid structure. Curiosity piqued. I called Sarah down, my voice echoing through the cavernous space. Together, our apprehension growing with each creak of the floorboards, we investigated the anomaly. To our surprise, the wall yielded to our combined force, revealing a small hidden room.
A chill ran down their spines as they peered into the darkness, their hearts pounding in unison. The air within the concealed space was stale, thick with the scent of decay and something else they couldn't quite place. As they stepped inside, their eyes slowly adjusted to the dim light filtering through the cracks in the boarded-up entrance. The room was small, barely large enough to stand in, its walls lined with rough-hewn shelves, upon which sat an assortment of unsettling objects. Dusty old books with strange symbols embossed on their covers, jars filled with unidentifiable liquids and herbs, and a collection of yellowed photographs, the faces within them contorted in expressions of pain and fear.
A shiver ran down my spine as I picked up one of the photographs, its edges brittle with age. The image showed a group of people huddled in a circle, their faces obscured by dark robes, their hands clasped around a small writhing figure in the center. A sense of dread washed over us as we realized we had stumbled upon something dark, something ancient and evil.
As they delved deeper into the room, their hands shaking with a mixture of fear and morbid curiosity, they uncovered a wooden chest, its lid secured with a heavy iron lock. With bated breath, they managed to force the lock open, the hinges groaning in protest after years of silence. Inside, nestled amongst faded velvet lining, lay a collection of handwritten journals, their pages filled with disturbing entries, detailing rituals, sacrifices, and an entity referred to as the Dweller in Darkness.
The words on those aged pages sent chills down our spines, painting a horrifying picture of the house's past. A history steeped in the occult and shrouded in whispers of unspeakable acts. As we read on, our blood ran cold, the weight of our discovery crushing down on us. The house.
Chapter 3. The Uninvited Guest. In the heart of a bustling city, amidst the towering concrete and steel structures, stood an unassuming brownstone, recently renovated and brimming with the promise of a fresh start. This was where Olivia and David, a young couple escaping the confines of cramped apartment living, hoped to build their life together. The moving truck rumbled away, leaving them surrounded by boxes and the echo of their excited chatter.
As we set about transforming the house into our home, a palpable energy seemed to crackle in the air, subtle at first, but growing stronger with each passing day.
It began with the feeling of being watched, fleeting glimpses of a shadowy figure lurking at the edge of their vision. They brushed it off as exhaustion, the stress of the move playing tricks on their minds. But as the days turned into nights, the occurrences grew increasingly difficult to ignore.
I would wake in the dead of night to the sound of footsteps creaking down the hallway, slow and deliberate, as if someone, or something, was just outside our bedroom door.
David, initially skeptical, couldn't deny the growing sense of unease that permeated their new home. One evening, as they sat down to a quiet dinner, the lights began to flicker, plunging the room into an unsettling darkness. A cold breeze seemed to seep from the walls, sending shivers down their spines, and then they heard it.
A whisper, faint but undeniable, coming from the darkened hallway just beyond the flickering candlelight. It was a woman's voice, laced with sorrow and a chilling desperation.
Terror gripped their hearts as they sat frozen in place, the weight of an unseen presence pressing down on them. David, his voice trembling slightly, called out into the darkness, his words met with an eerie silence. Gathering his courage, he slowly made his way down the hallway, each creaking floorboard amplifying his fear. The air grew colder with each step, the stench of damp earth and decay assailing his nostrils.
Whispering, "Help us, please."
He reached the end of the hallway, his heart pounding in his chest, only to find an empty room, bathed in the pale moonlight filtering through the window. As he turned to leave, something caught his eye. A child's doll, its porcelain face cracked and weathered, lay discarded in the corner, its vacant eyes seemingly following his every move. Panic welled up inside him as he realized they were not alone in the house. Something else shared their space, something unseen but ever present, something that whispered in the shadows and watched them from the darkness.
Our dream home had become a prison, our lives intertwined with an entity whose motives remained shrouded in mystery.
They tried everything to rid themselves of the unwelcome presence, from sage smudging to contacting paranormal investigators, but nothing seemed to work. The entity, relentless and malevolent, remained, its grip on their lives tightening with each passing day. As fear and desperation consumed them, they uncovered a horrifying truth about their new home. It had once been the site of a tragic fire, claiming the lives of a young mother and her child. The whispers, the footsteps, the chilling presence. It all pointed to the restless spirits trapped within those very walls, their sorrow and anger palpable, their need for recognition impossible to ignore. Thank you for joining me tonight as we delved into the dark heart of these true house horror stories. The next time you consider moving into a new home, remember these tales. You never know what secrets and spirits might be lurking within those walls. If you enjoyed these stories, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more terrifying tales. Sweet dreams, everyone.